These arrive, you know my favorite things. Cream color pony and crisp apple strudel. Doorbells and sleepers and schnitzel with noodles. Why just the fly with a moon on their wings. These arrive, you know my favorite things.
Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes.
Snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes.
Silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things.
When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I just simply remember my favorite things. I don't I feel so bad.
Wait, so what were we saying?
I was just saying, man, I show up here, you know, and I find this thing you got here, Black's Law, something I personally like to just burn. You know, I'm going to make this my dinner. Put this on the frying pan. I'm eating this tonight.
Alright,
And I'm going to wash it down.
Well, there's a lot to eat.
I'm going to wash it down with
There's
a
a
little
lot to eat.
fantasy.
Look how fat that is. See all this fat? that
I'd
you
rather
can
read this.
Chew down.
Come on.
Talking about eating, alright, well I'm still munching down on my tamales here.
Yeah, that's another thing, you know. I show up and you're eating.
Yeah, I got these in
You
hand.
couldn't even wait for me,
Mm.
you know. It's
Well, you're the one that had the burritos.
It's true. Tacos.
No, you had tacos, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have my
Only
tamales.
tacos. Only steak tacos.
You know. So anyways, back to what we were saying. Earlier we were talking about all the events in the world. Actually in the other episodes we were talking about current events. I'm talking with my mouth full here. Let me wash that down with my spirits.
To
It's like
50,
Piers Morgan.
to the
Yes,
episode
episode 50. Indeed. Glad you guys were able to make it. Can't believe we made it.
Did we make it?
I think so. So with that said, where do you think we should start, bro?
Where do you want to start? I mean, we could start.
We can hit Black's Law Dictionary and why you hate it, but I think we should save that for later.
That is like a dinner. Let's let this thing like burn.
Yeah.
on
Let
the
it sit
grill,
there.
You know.
Alright,
Because,
so
you
alright,
know,
so let's talk about what's on everybody's mind.
what's that?
Everybody's
The
thinking
Boston
about it.
bombing.
The Boston bombing. And before I even go on, I just want to say this to everyone out there and all the people affected and family members that were affected by this. My condolences and prayers and meditations go out to each and every single one of them. Kind of hit me a little close, even being on the West Coast. I'm not going to give the name of the person that was in the marathon, but my wife's friend actually she crossed the finish line a few minutes before that went off. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to have a positive mindset here. You know, be happy about this. That's why I'm joking around, eating,
But still-
doing the whole joke. But the seriousness of the matter.
Well,
Go
truth.
ahead, yeah.
Well, truth, because that's really the whole thing. We just want to know what the real truth is here, right? You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
well, if
and
they,
lives were lost. So it was
lives were lost, and it's always like, well, since people died, then we should just shut up. We shouldn't talk about it.
right.
It's like,
Right.
well, wait a minute. You know, if people died, wouldn't you want to figure out why they died? Figure out what happened? I mean, that
Mhm.
seems
Right. That's
That
the
seems cool
the
to
most
me. I
logical
mean,
thing to
yeah.
do. I mean.
so. That's why, you know.
Some people murdered, killed, whatever. Sandy Hook, the Boston massacre. You know, the Boston bombing, Boston, Massachusetts bombing. You know, shoot, the Aurora attack, everything, Batman, all this going on, these attacks, and the first thing they tell you to do is just shut up. I'm sorry, I'm a loss for words here. It's just really hard for me to talk about this. The whole point of that, trying to make it the Patriot Day thing, was to try to, and again, the moment of silence is done. We're already over that.
But isn't it weird?
It's time to ask questions. So the question's right. The Patriot Day thing.
It's weird.
And you hear all this predictive programming on television, on TV, of people that are affiliated with the Tea Party and things like that. I do not support the Glenn Beck, neocon, Sarah Palin, hijacked Tea Party that.
Glenn Beck?
No, they're garbage. They're infiltrator, gatekeeping ninnies. I don't know what else to describe these people as. They want to take our rights, yet they act like they're trying to champion for them. So with that said, back to the whole questioning. Right. Black Saw Dictionary. We're saving that for later. This thing is like burning. It's like burning my eye. I'm just like trying to just stay awake. Check it out. So
it does look like a big steak though.
Oh, it's a juicy. It's like a meatloaf, bro. It's like full of crap that you don't even know.
It is crap. It is crap.
See that? I knew that.
It is full of crap.
I knew you'd get the crap. All right, check it out. So back to the whole seriousness of the matter.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I'm trying to have high hopes and keep good spirits here.
Well, there's many weird things that are coming out, right? Like you have found that one picture.
Right. And that there's a picture of a Sandy Hook victim photoshopped into a victim photo or video of.
But it was a video still. It wasn't a video.
Right, it was just a snapshot. Right, correct. So it was just a snapshot. That's you could tell there was editing on the neck.
Show the whole thing.
So what the problem is with that is, right, why not show the whole thing? Why not do a side-by-side comparison?
Why was she wearing the same thing? You have no other
No, check it out. Why? Regardless, right, I'm at this point. Where are the two videos? Play the two videos side by side. Show me the evidence. That's what I need to see. Don't show me a still snapshot that was obviously photoshopped. See, here's the danger with all this. The government has been known to fake news stories and media. Have you ever seen the movie Argo? Yeah, it's just a movie, but it's based on actual events where we went into Iran, completely fabricated this movie production, made everything fake, completely fabricated, and convinced the Iranian people that there was a film crew from Canada in Iran rescuing the hostages from the student rebellion, the revolt, where they took over the embassy, during the Shah, the uprising. And if they've done it before, who's to say they wouldn't do it again? There's $96 trillion of American debt that we owe the world banks. What's to make you say that they wouldn't pull something off like this to keep their wealth? I mean, we're waking up to the whole situation of the banks taking our money. Grandma, grandpa, everybody's talking about, the Federal Reserve got the bailouts to the banks and didn't give anyone their money, and all these patriot groups, quote unquote, we the people types, who believe in, maximum freedom and liberty for the American people and break away from this system. It's in their best interest to stage something for the New World Order people, the Illuminati, the ones that are behind it, the banks. They spend money to create these fake news articles and news reports. It's just all standard procedure. This is nothing new. So for me to talk about this and question it and say, hey, look, there's something going on here, that's normal.
Yeah, but
But to remain silent and to not speak out, it becomes a point where silence is betrayal. And Martin Luther King said that, and I totally agree with that statement. When you don't speak out when you see something wrong, you're just as guilty. At least speaking out. One thing to do something is different. If you're to go and stop something physically, whatever, that's completely different. But just the simple notion, the motion of speaking out and actually just talking about it. You don't have to try to convince anyone, just talk about it. That's it. And all we're trying to do is talk about it, and you get these people on the mainstream media, the news. There was a guy from New York, Dan Badandi, went in, confronted the media, and they're calling him a
Right.
troll for questioning.
Right.
So what? Asking questions means you're a terrorist or a troll or a piece of crap? We live in the United States of America. I mean, last time I checked, we had the First Amendment where it guarantees your right to ask questions,
We
demand
should be asking
answers.
questions, right.
You know, these are things that are fundamental to us as human beings. We have the ability to speak. Our mouth was given to us for a reason. You know, for a government to say, hey, look, we grant you that authority to do it. You have the ability to speak. No, it doesn't work that way. This is not, you know, Stasi Russia, Fidel Castro, Cuba, Venezuela, where you have to get a permit to actually talk about certain things or go along and get along. You know, this is the United States of America. Our land, some would say, was taken, blah, 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 all this, and then I'm part Native American, all right? Yeah, my land was taken. I'm taking it back, and I'm going to give it to everybody. Black, white, red, yellow, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm part white, part Filipino, part Mexican, part Spanish. The whole freaking 57 colors of the rainbow and shit. You feel me? Getting a little hypey here. But anyways, all that I'm getting at is that we need to take our country back. This is our country. Every single one of us here, we built this place. These people are using these acts of terror to take away our rights. And I am going out on a rant here and a little tangent, whatever you want to call it, but it's true. They, ever since 9/11 and even before 9/11, remember Ruby Ridge, remember Waco. I do not in any way support David Koresh. But I will say this, the actions of the federal government at the time and what they did was completely unconstitutional. You know, just a piece of crap. David Koresh, piece of crap. But government just as equally a piece of crap for setting up the whole damn operation. All they had to do was just arrest his ass. He had businesses in the town. Arrest him. And all this bullshit right now of us saying, oh, we have maximum security in our country. Now we're probably going to have a finger up our ass to make sure we don't have bombs. There's cameras on every single fucking street light, pardon my French.
Well, this
is passionate here.
This is
but this
season.
is my
baseball season
freedom.
just started.
Right.
So you're definitely going to see
right. I mean, there's already a ton of cameras there though. My point is this:
well,
there's tons of surveillance. We have all this stuff.
Watch what happens.
It's not going to stop terrorism.
It's not
going to stop terrorism.
It doesn't
It's just
matter.
going to infringe upon our rights as Americans,
That's pretty much
as citizens. Whether you're white, black, brown, purple, green,
whether you support
whatever,
Black's Law or
whatever
not,
you support Black's Law or not, whether you're a commie or an anarchist or a Republican, a Democrat, whatever the hell you are, it's going to affect you.
Even reptilians?
Even reptilians from those crazy
Really?
conspiracy tinfoil hat people, where they say Planet Pop-Tart is here to invade and they live and put the sunglasses on. And you'll see them. So, with all that said,
Do you see him?
the false flag, I do see the false flag at this point. I don't know about them, but we know who they are in terms of, you know,
one guy
the
on
Illuminati.
top of that roof?
Oh yeah, the guy, someone said he was getting higher than a fire escape. He was just up there smoking a doobie.
How does he know?
Yeah,
Okay.
funny. I thought that was funny too. But at the same time, it's
possible though. Who knows?
you know, hey, maybe
I
it
don't
is
know.
possible. But at the same time, why was he running and getting all crazy up there like he's some secret agent, man? I don't know what the hell this fool's doing. You know what I'm saying? At least question the guy. Say, hey, did you see anything up there?
Well, they
You know what did they get Little Kim for? Not testifying because she was a witness. If they could find out who this guy is and get him to testify.
I don't know. It looks like we're back to they don't know who did it now. It looks like they're gonna have to find somebody or create a new group.
Okay,
to come after us.
So the finding of somebody.
Maybe they'll support Black's Law too.
Right.
You never
They
know.
may or may not. So the finding somebody. Who did they find? They initially found a 20-year-old Arab, Saudi Arabian, not an Arab, Saudi Arabian national.
With
So that could mean
visa.
he could be whatever. You know what I'm saying? In terms of race and everyone pulling this race card bullshit, Saudi Arabian national means he could have been a Nigerian, he could have been from Israel, he could have been from Europe, he could have been from the United States, he could have been from any nation that allowed him to obtain national citizenship of Saudi Arabia. It's that simple. So they can say anyone from the United States, an American national, blah, blah, blah. So again, the demonization, it's cutting in many different ways here. Cutting into us, the American people, who we, do not want to get treaded on because we believe in our rights and our liberties and our freedoms that are not to be messed with. You do not step on us because we are free people. We fought for this. Our Native American ancestors were, entrapped and enslaved by the bankers and the, elite of the time. And they broke free, and now we're here. We're free now.
We are.
So, we still believe in the philosophy of don't tread on us, don't step on us, we're going to fight you. You know what I'm saying? We took what's rightfully ours, this land. Whether it be represented by a flag or whatever, but we stand to defend this. So, again, back to the whole thing about these terrorist attacks being used to chip away our civil liberties and our rights. I mean, where do you see this going? Do you see DHS on every street corner every time there's an event? I mean, maybe a carnival now. They're going to mandate that in order for a city to have a carnival, there must be an ordinance passed where DHS is there to assist the security efforts and make sure everyone is safe. And we're going to have microwave scanners and everything.
They're there. There's photos of them out there now. So with bomb sniffing dogs.
So let me ask this question, and this is a serious question for you out there. Were they already on the scene?
It looks like yes. It really does. If the coach who said this is a credible person, then yes. If he's not the only one who said it, then that would really help out. So there's got to be more video footage or more people out there who would also say that they were there and they saw these bomb sniffing dogs. They saw, they heard.
Okay.
They heard about
that
these drills.
To me,
that's really
not to cut you off. I'm gonna let you continue after
not
you
to
say
cut
this
you
one
off,
thing.
but then I'm gonna cut you off.
Check this out. With that said, asking that simple question, why were they there? So keep going. Keep going.
I mean that's a great question. Why were they there? Were they running a drill on that same day? Because it really looks like it. Right. It really looks like it, and it also looks like they were talking to runners and telling them not to worry. They're just running drills and stuff there. They also, I guess they also pulled out some of the runners.
Right.
And
okay.
I guess they were from a special group.
So you're saying that some of the runners were in disguise?
No, I'm not saying that. I don't know.
But they're from a military group.
It seems like they were a part of a.
But anyone could participate in the marathon, though.
But they were representing like one of the military services.
Okay, so
something like that. I don't know. That's why I don't know too much about.
Right. No, I'm still intrigued by the whole story.
There's still
everything that's going on in the background here. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, okay. So with the scene, people on the scene, there was an alleged report. I'm gonna take a bite of this after I say this and let you elaborate a little bit further on it.
Okay.
But there was an initial report of one of the coaches, I believe it was. I'm terrible with names.
No, that's the one we're talking about. Yeah.
Right. The coach. Well, yeah, coach. The testimony of him saying the loudspeaker part.
Well,
we can mention the loudspeakers.
I don't know if he specifically said loudspeaker.
Was it loudspeakers or the announcements?
He
what
did
was
say
it?
that they announced it. Yes, that is true. They definitely did.
Okay, so
they totally announced it.
Okay, so one last thing, and this one's gonna get you going on for sure. Just like 9/11, they admitted there was prior knowledge to the attacks, but then they first denied prior knowledge to the attacks. So I'll let you take it from here.
Wait, say that again?
So on 9/11, they initially said, the federal government initially said that there was absolutely no prior knowledge to anyone flying airplanes into the building, any attack whatsoever coming, any intelligence, nothing. The denial, remember the active denial? They're just denying it, and then they're like, oh yeah, we did know about that. We did get some intelligence. We did find out that they were gonna attack us, and just forget about the denial part.
So you think that's gonna happen here?
I don't know. Where do you think you could take that? I don't know. What do you think? I mean, the evidence coming out is
well, they were running drills on 911, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were running drills on 7/7. So
where else?
Oh man.
Keep going, Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, they were running drill. I'm not sure.
Was there a drill during the Batman shooter?
I don't believe so. I don't remember hearing about a drill. Maybe
but
there
just,
was, I don't
no,
remember
I'm just asking the question.
One.
I'm just asking the question.
I do remember hearing.
I don't remember. I mean, I kind of do recall hearing something about Sandy Hook having drills either the day before or the day of.
Of what, Sandy Hook or the?
Yeah, no, the Sandy Hook shooting. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
And then
about
also,
that
was it reported that in Denver, they had terrorist drills about movie theaters or something like that prior to the attack? So again, look this up.
Yeah, they were having a lot. I think they were having a lot of different drills. I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how it's if it's tied into that or not.
Well, not necessarily tied into it one way or another. I'm just saying during these catastrophic events, there's a drill tied to it. Why would there be a drill tied to the, is it just coincidence that there's drills going on during these major events?
Drills go live, right? Like in 1993, right? The whole WTC bombing too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a drill that they had there.
Right. So the FBI
maybe
could
during
bomb.
During RFK, there might have been some drills going on there too. I don't know.
More than likely, there could have been. Yeah.
Who knows? But sometimes these drills go live. It does seem weird to me, that they would, if they were running drills, and I'm still not sure. So there's a couple videos out there. There's one with the wheelchair guy, and that's really the main one. Mm-hmm. So that's the one to really start talking about. I think. I'm trying to pull up exactly what that quote was, but yeah, there was a guy who said that. He said that these guys were they were doing drills. That's what he said. But then you have the governor. The governor says that they weren't doing drills.
Right.
Everybody else says that they weren't.
So
doing
that's
drills.
what I'm getting back to, the active denial. They're denying it. They're actively denying the fact that there's drills. But later on, if the truth comes out, whether it be there were no drills or there were drills, but if there were drills, there'd be whistleblowers, other people involved with it. And I think at this point, because this is the second day into the whole tragedy, we're yet to see the actual witness accounts. And my biggest fear, not necessarily a fear, but a concern, is that the witnesses will be scripted, and you got to say what you got to say, or don't even say it. Just like, what's her name? The woman in the Pentagon, where she blew the whistle on them being briefed prior to the press release, saying, yeah, you can only say this, this, and that, and if you say anything else, you're going to get reprimanded. You're going to get written up.
Yeah,
So,
and this is
okay, so what do you have here?
This is the quote. This is what he told them.
Oh, okay, so here's the coach. The quote from the coach. At the starting line this morning, they had bomb-sniffing dogs and the bomb squad out there.
This morning.
So, standard procedure, that's my question. Is that standard procedure now? And if
well, you know what, you're right.
And if so, and if so, why didn't they catch the bomb? So it just leads me to believe that our security is garbage, and yeah. So anyways, that's a side conversation. So here it goes, continuing. They kept announcing to runners not to be alarmed. They were running a training exercise, he added.
And here we go. It says, he added, I've run a lot of races like this one, but I never saw bomb dogs at the starting line of any running event. It led me to believe that something like, in quotes here, or in brackets, a bomb detonation might have happened. So yeah, there you go. That's word from the ground.
No, so I mean that's really the only person.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. BigPZone.com. See, I'm not too sure on how creditable this site is, but I will still quote what to say. No, I know, but I'm just saying, Big P Zone. People, out there, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, what's the Big P Zone? I don't know what that is. I don't trust it. It's that internet stuff. Go look it up.
Go see it for yourself."
So check it out.
There's many people.
With that said, it says this: Boston Marathon runner Alistair Stevenson says that as the explosives erupted at the Boston Marathon this morning, he was told by police over the loudspeaker that the events were just a drill.
Yeah,
so those are some bold words there.
When you read his actual quote there, he doesn't say loudspeaker, right? Does it say loudspeaker?
No, it says he was told by police over the loudspeaker that the events were just a drill.
His quote.
No, it says the Big P Zone reporting. I'm just reading from the Big P Zone. So read it for yourself. Go out there and look it up. Go and look it up. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true. Go look it up. And then research for yourself, and you'll come to the conclusion of what you believe.
What is true.
And what is truth. I can't tell you what truth is. I can only show you the truth. So with that said, we're going to take a break. I'm getting a little winded here. I think I need a refill in my glass, and my tamales pretty much cooled down. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the fridge and save them for later.
Cool.
See you guys on the other side.
Peace out.
And we're back. I'm Manny from Mirror Change Eastbay, and we're talking about the Boston attacks earlier yesterday, to be more precise. And we were talking about how our civil liberties and our basic freedoms are going to be taken away as a result of this tragic incident. And we also went into how as a tragedy like this happens, people just remain silent. And they don't want to question or, try to figure out what's really going on for themselves, rather than they just wait for the news, government paid news to tell you what to believe and think. So we're back. Greg, you want to go ahead and lead us out on that whole topic, and we'll go into the meat and potatoes of what we wanted to butcher and cut up and throw into the fire.
I'm thinking of just sending it back, I don't think we need it anymore. So, we don't need it. I don't know. There was I'm looking at this one thing about that lady you were talking about, the two photos, and this one, I guess this might be her, and she looks fine, but it kind of looks different. It looks like a different person. So I don't know. So
it's basically saying, here's the link of the woman. They used the wrong pic.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Well, LOL. How does that happen? So
I don't know if it's true. So I'm still reading it to see, but that wouldn't shock me. But then the good thing is to find out the source.
Right.
Right.
That to me the source.
That'll be the whole problem.
Source,
because if the source is who we think it is, and they're just gonna cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're never going to find that source. And by that, we'll keep in limbo, and it'll just keep that going on.
Right.
Until they do some other false flag or some other thing. And it's really hard to sit here and say that I don't believe it's a false flag. It's really hard because everything is pointing towards that. Everything is really looking like
right. And to me, it's like they say, and some people will tell me, hey, you know what, you're being a Ron Paul bot. But Ron Paul said it best. He said that, all these black operations that the United States does, like these black missions, Delta Force, Black Ops, Call of Duty type stuff, where you're sending in a small unit of maybe 3 or 4 infantrymen who are elite crack soldiers who are capable of taking out large forces on their own. And this constantly happens. They go out in other nations. If you look at Jim Perkins and the economic hitman, John Perkins, sorry, he clearly talks about that, and he says that, you know, what you do is you go into another nation, to put it in simple terms, you go into another nation, you bribe the dictator, you constantly give them gifts, and then you get them to be on your side, and once they decide not to play ball, well, I mean, you're his best friend. So what are you going to do? You just put a gun to his head and take him out. I mean, it's simple gangster crony capitalism, which I like to call it. It's not true free market capitalism. You have monopolies of power, fascist dictatorships working in tangent, creating this one world, new world order banking system. And they use events like Boston, 7/7, 9/11, even the 8/8 attacks in Russia. I mean, there's so many false flags that they would, at their disposal, use. And with that said, what did they say? Crisis precipitates change. And if that's the case, crisis precipitating change, well, what did Rahm Emanuel, gangster cartel leader of Chicago, say? He said, never let a crisis go to waste. And, you know, make sure you take advantage of any crisis and get as much as you can out of it, because if you don't, you're just letting it go to waste. And, you know, from time and time again, we're seeing it now. Boston, Massachusetts, yet again, they're using this crisis to precipitate change in their way where, well, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're going to have to abide by this Black's Law Dictionary, because the Federal Reserve System has completely infiltrated and occupied the United States Republic, where it is no longer the United States Republic, it's the United States Empire. There's a major difference between the United States Republic and the United States Empire. The United States Republic is we the people. Last time I checked, I didn't want to invade any nation because of the past atrocities that have happened to my ancestry and where I'm from, and where I'm sure some of you out there are from.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure about that. Pretty sure. But one thing I do know is this. The United States Empire is completely different than the United States Republic. The United States Empire operates under maritime law, which is under the Universal Commercial Code, which is dictated out of Britain directly from the crown. When you go into court, you're being seen in front of witches. I guarantee you, if you look that up, you're going to find something and you're just, what the hell is this guy talking about? No, look it up.
All the judges are...
They're practicing witchcraft. It's literally a form of witchcraft through the black nobility of the Illuminati and the Freemasons of the Scottish Rite of London. I mean, the triad of power is the Vatican, London, and Washington, D.C. And the Scottish Rite and the Illuminati of London, along with the Windsors, the Saxe-Coburg-Gothas, the descendants of, believe it or not, Dracula, quote-unquote, Vlad the Impaler, direct descendants of him. And they're the people that are in charge of England. And they have direct control over the law. That's why when you hear bar, what does bar mean? It's from the British accounted. British law. It's all British law. Let's take a peek and look at the exact definition of what BAR is. And I know you hate this, and I hate this too. Because this is the system that controls us, and every time I look into this book, I just want to burn it. Because it has so much fucking bullshit in here, and I'm using some colorful language here because I'm tired of being controlled by this system of control. The Universal Commercial Code, I'm not a fucking straw man, I'm a human being. I'm a human being, my life has value. I'm not a number, I'm not a stock. You think my social security number is my value? Fuck you. I'm a human being. So with that passion aside, where were we going with this? Where were we going here? I just completely lost
We're gonna
track.
show how
BAR. Let's look up the
crap
bar. Let's
the
look
whole
up what the
thing
bar
is.
is. Yeah, the bar. The definition of the bar.
The bar, the people that judge you without.
Okay,
having
the bar.
known
Here's the
anything.
bar.
A bunch of douchebags.
The
Sit
court.
back. Yeah.
The
Court
definition of the
court
bar.
Of losers who don't.
The
even
court
know
in
anything.
its strictest sense. Sitting in full term. The presence, actual or constructive, of the court. Thus, a trial at bar is one had before the full court, distinguished from a trial had before a single judge at Nisiparis. So the case, the case at bar
This is why we can't win any
is the
cases.
case now
Shit.
before the court and under its consideration. The case being tried or argued. So that, the court is the one that decides
Everything.
whether or not you get to be heard or tried. In other sense, the whole body of attorneys and counselors are the members of legal profession collectively, who are figuratively called the bar. They are thus distinguished from the bench, which term denotes the whole body of judges. Bar associations of attorneys may be either national, state, or local. See bar association.
Shit.
So there we go. We're going into loops.
Yeah, come on, man. Just
In the practice of legislative bodies, the outer boundary of the House, therefore all persons not being members who wish to address the House or are summoned to it, appear at the bar for that purpose. So therefore you're basically at the, the mercy of the bar. You're not at the mercy of the United States Constitution. You're at the mercy of the bar. Let's continue. In the law of contracts, when did you sign on for a contract? You have a social security card?
yeah, but I didn't
You signed on for a contract. You didn't know it. You got
I didn't
suckered
sign on
in.
it for that. No.
Okay. Well, anyways, I got suckered in. We all got suckered.
We didn't get
in.
suckered.
To a degree, we did.
No
I
way,
believe.
man.
Nonetheless, let me continue.
You
Sorry.
can't have a contract that
We got
somebody
suckered.
doesn't know about.
Our parents didn't know any better. They signed it.
Ridiculous.
They gave it to us. They said, here's a social security number. You could get your driver license now.
No, here's a social security number because you don't have any choice to get your driver's license.
See, there they
That's
go.
the whole problem.
It was a voluntary force system.
That's right. That's the system that we're fighting. Pretty much.
So I agree, 100%, my
So here
brother.
they are,
All right, so let's continue here.
making laws.
In the
breaking
law
them.
of contracts, here we
The
go.
law of contracts.
An
of which
impediment.
no one has signed.
Obstacle or preventive barrier. Thus, relationship within the prohibited degrees is a bar to marriage. In this sense, also we speak of the bar of the statute of limitations.
Says who? I mean, who are these people to say anything? These people need to just.
These are the people that believe they rule over you.
Well, they don't.
They
really
do.
Don't.
They believe they rule over you, but they don't rule shit.
They don't even rule themselves. If they
Right,
rule
they're a bunch
themselves,
of freaking animals.
they wouldn't
right.
need to create a fucking piece of crap book to try to rule over other people.
Okay, let's continue.
They would do their own thing.
All right, let's continue because I'm getting passionate here. Let's finish this one. I'm getting mad about this too.
Do you really? I mean, yeah.
Just
I mean,
wanna-
come on, man.
I hate
is
this
like,
crap, but it's
are you
this
gonna
is
read
this
the
is
fucking
this is
Warren Commission report next?
this
or
is
what?
this is this is
Top it
this
off
is
with
your
the
life.
9/11 report.
Okay, let me just explain this. I'm currently dealing with the state issue right now due to an infraction with the government that I'm dealing with. And I have no fucking clue what the hell it's saying. Civil code, penal code, all this bullshit I have to deal with. I don't know what the hell half this shit. I feel like I should buy a lawyer or pay for a lawyer. I'm ghetto, I don't have the money.
Is that in Black's Law?
So, what is a lawyer? You're just paying somebody to interpret this book to you. Some asshole that's going to make $300 an hour to represent you as an attorney. To represent you. I don't know shit about the law, so I can't afford an attorney, so I'm going to freaking read this stupid ass book that controls our fucking lives, which I hate to say that. It controls, this is what rules your life. You cannot get away from the system without playing by these rules. Try not to play by the rules. Here's my advice to not playing by the rules. There's a very good friend of mine, Joel Contrell. Look him up. Facebook. He has tons of sovereign citizen stuff, how to defeat this. And one of the things that he says is, look, learn their definitions, learn their terms, and that's how you beat them. The only way to really beat them is to know what they're talking about. And if they hit you with hella stuff and you say the wrong thing and give them the wrong answer to what they're hitting you with in their legal speak, you're basically giving up your Fifth Amendment right and you're incriminating yourself. It's unfortunate that the English language, as we know it today, has become multi-definitioned, where you have a word that has 50 million, like bar. We're barely even halfway through bar. You know what I'm saying?
There's more?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
like
come
half
on,
of the
man, I
like.
can't take this.
This is half of the
What
page
the-
almost.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
bar. That's bar.
You've got to be kidding me. That's like a
Bar
full
is
page
from here all the way down to here.
for one word.
And then nope, and then even going further, bar admission, bar ganya, bar association.
Barganya.
Yeah, there's a lot of random things. I don't know. It's just bar, BAR.
Okay.
It said even go to bar association. It's like what? I mean, come on, we got bar association. So much stuff here. So much to learn in a system that has been designed to imprison you. How can you even operate in a system where there's so many laws that even the illiterate man is going to fail? I mean, why do you think we have homeless people? Everyone, oh, they can't find jobs. Yeah, that's part of it. But a lot of it is because they can't even interpret the freaking law. They can't even help themselves. They don't even know what to do when they go to the Social Security office. They're trying to figure out what the hell this legal talk is. They try to fill out the paperwork and they throw it away and then they just go live in the streets. It's sad. That's what happens in this country. And everyone's, oh, well, now you're sounding like a commie, man. Now you're trying to figure out why are people homeless. You know, it's just simple. Simple. What did they warn during the Greek times? During the days of what was it? Plato? I can't remember. Aristotle, one of those dudes from back in the day. They said that the more laws a society has, the more tyrannical it is. To the point where it's like you can't even like walk two
Here we
steps
go.
without breaking a law.
This is a great.
It's like you're walking on eggshells constantly, and that's what this has become.
So we're gonna burn it.
I wouldn't say burn it, but if I could, I would eliminate this language, period. The English language is very beautiful, don't get me wrong. The Old English and Shakespeare type stuff and all the whole literature of the past 4 centuries of English being in existence, because it's a fairly new language, it's very, very recent. It's not one of the old languages of the world, it's really new. And with that said, there is a lot of good, but at the same time, we have this Hegelian dialectic, which was described in 1984, where doublespeak is being used constantly, and we're just stuck in this system. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You just don't know what to do anymore. You just become so overwhelmed with the system, you become a slave. You become complacent. You just go along to get along. You know, it's you know, you become so sick at heart that you just take part. You don't. You know, it's like Mario Savio said. You know, the machine. You just get so sick at heart that you can't take part. And you just want to break out of the machine. You just throw yourself into it. Fuck it. Then you just, I don't know. It's a very deep issue, but this system of control has just engulfed everyone into it. No matter what, you have to deal with it. You pay your taxes, you're dealing with this book. I'm sorry to say it. Do you have a job? Did you fill out a W-2? Do you get a W-4? Do you know all those paperworks that you get, all the paperwork you get from the government that you have? It's from here. I hate to tell you. So if you know that, fight it. Learn how to defeat it. Learn the definitions. Learn the words. Yeah, let's burn this motherfucker. Let's burn this book. It's garbage. But I don't want to be like Hitler.
Send it back.
I don't want to be like Hitler. I want to send it back to him and say, you know what, here, you can have your fucking definition. Your definition is garbage. Definition means nothing. That's why we have nullification. Fortunately, that's defined in here. We can nullify laws and policies or whatever the government creates because it's not just. We have that ability through juries. You know, the good thing is, like, a lot of people hate this book, and one thing I will say in terms of it being good, the definitions do help you. If you don't know what nullification
they didn't
is,
help me.
if you don't know what jury nullification is, if you do not know what jury nullification is, look that up. Thomas Jefferson, the first liberal, a true definition of a liberal, told us that we have the right to nullify laws as a civil grand jury under the court systems of the United States and say this law is unjust, I'm on the jury, I'm going to let this person go and change the law. As in this situation here, I'll use an example. You're a freed slave, you're black, you're running from the government, and the jury of the trial says, look, I don't believe this law is just, and I don't believe that this person should be imprisoned based on the fact that they're black. So therefore I'm going to say not guilty, and at the same time I'm going to nullify this law. And that has been proven through United States history as a method of defeating the New World Order. We have done it in the past. Defeating the New World Order is nothing new. Everyone thinks, oh, it's like reinventing the wheel and shit. We don't need to reinvent nothing. Learn the law. Learn the system that they have created to defeat you and keep you enslaved. The only way you're going to break out of it is if you know you're even shackled. I mean, come on, if you're shackled, you realize you're shackled, or you're not going to try to figure out a method of unlocking the key?
I hope so.